Hello, um, welcome back to the Thunderdome, or the mess that is the workshop. I have an issue. It's a PTO. This is a PTO off the generator. It is obviously winter time, high risk of having power cuts from storms, etc. And having the robots, we need electricity essentially 24/7. It is crucial that those robots don't stop. So we have a generator that's PTO driven, and I went to put it on the other day, and I think yeah, that should be freely moving round and round. The one on the other end is just as bad. Well, so I did bang some grease in there. Those were all seized up. They're relatively new UJs on there, but I'm gonna have to swap them out, I think. Great. So what is the problem? Well, so if you don't know, PTO is made up of generally 4 or 5 bits. So you've got the universal joint on each end. That should be freely moving, and that allows flex different angles of the shaft to run back to the machine. So you've got that inner shaft and outer shaft. Those go that goes inside that one, and that allows it to go further and closer to the machine off the back of the tractor. And then you've got the PTO covers that go over the top. So these should be freely moving, to give you different angles for the PTO to work at, but obviously they aren't, because that should flex. That goes that way. It should go the other way as well. So you have 2 universal joints on a PTO shaft generally, and they should cancel each other's angle out, as long as the shaft on the machine and the shaft on the tractor are relatively square to each other. Yeah, so I have to pull these apart and get some new ones. Yeah, so that should flex up rather than lifting the shaft. So I've got the UJ apart. This is called the yoke. So that sits in between the 2 pieces, and then it sits inside these 4 needle bearings. And I've pulled them all apart, got it all apart. I can't see anything that's wrong. Like, you can put them down in there like that. Doesn't run that smooth actually. Actually, that does run pretty smooth actually now. Once you free that up, that runs pretty smooth. And there's a little bit of edge in there, but you can run your thumb over it, and there's just not. There's no real damage in there. The only thing is that one. No, that one. I don't know if you can see there. There's a rubber seal around there, and that is just slightly damaged. So that means that there's you could get a bit of ingress of dirt and stuff. But as this is on the generator, it's not running in dirty conditions, so I'm not too fussed if those seals are slightly damaged. There's not going to be any dust or dirt getting in there while it's running to cause an issue. So I don't know. I might just put this one back together, see if it was just all in there a bit too tight and that was holding it together and binding it up. I don't know. Give it a good clean, bit of grease. See what it's like when it goes back together. So yeah, pulled the other one apart, and it's pitted as well. I pull those off there, that one's really bad. Let's pull the caps off. So now I've cleaned off the grease. You can just see those pitting marks, just scores in there. So then as the bearing comes around here, as the needle bearing comes around, it's not smooth. Otherwise these bearings, there's nothing really wrong with these bearings, these universal joints, but I'm not going to put them back in. I've been and bought some brand new ones, which should be all good. If this was on a normal machine and not the generator, then I'd probably just put it back together and see how long it lasted, because they'll probably last quite a long time. But the issue I have is because they're on the generator, if they fail, and they're bound to fail in the middle of the night when no one's around, the generator's just running itself, we could end up with a right pickle. So I'm going to stick these on the shelf as spares, to get us out of trouble one day, maybe, or to be thrown away in about 20 years time. And I'll put new bearings on that, and then I can know that if we do have to run the generator, it's all pretty good, and we shouldn't have any issues with the PTO shaft when no one's not necessarily around in the middle of the night, if we have to run the generator at night. So yeah, so I'll put this all back together. So this is one of the new ones. As you can see, where the cap goes on with the needle bearings, there is absolutely no marking. So there shouldn't be, obviously, because it's brand new. So it rotates absolutely smoothly. There's no friction in there. It's not going to generate any heat. It's not going to cause any issues, hopefully. So we'll put all this back together, and hopefully the generator can sit there and be ready to go whenever we need it. Touch wood, we haven't needed it for a while, but it's one of those things. It's absolutely critical that when you do need it, it works. So it has to be maintained and fixed and ready to go. And voila, just like on Blue Peter, here's one I've just done. Yes, that moves a lot more freely there, look. Both UJs done, 2 new UJs greased. Just put the covers back on, put it back on the generator, and then hopefully we never have to use it. Brilliant, top job.